So you'd like to call this meeting to order?
All right, I'd like to call to order the Village of Monee Planning and Zoning meeting of April 20th, 2022. Do the pledge. Okay. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Bettenhausen.
Here.
Brophy.
Here.
Culp.
Here.
Lanier.
Here.
Lindstrom.
Here.
Trevino.
Here.
West.
Here.
All right, now I need a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of November 3rd, 2021 as presented.
I'll make a motion for that.
Roll call, please.
Brophy.
Here.
Culp.
Here.
Lanier. Lindstrom.
Here.
Trevino.
Yes.
West.
Here.
Bettenhausen.
Here.
Okay.
I need a motion to open the meeting.
Lin.
Public meeting, sorry.
I'll make a motion for that.
I need a second.
All right, roll call, please.
Culp.
Here.
Lin.
Here.
Lindstrom.
Here.
Trevino.
Here.
West.
Here.
Bettenhausen.
Here.
Brophy.
Yes.
You can, right,
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes.
well, you can do it. Anybody from the public have any questions or any comments before we open the public hearing?
Okay. Does anybody have any public comments before we open to the hearing?
Then we'll go into, you need a motion to open the public hearing.
Okay, I need a motion to open the public hearing. I know, I thought we did it here.
Pardon me? The public hearing? Public.
Oh, the hearing.
Public hearing.
Public hearing, okay, so it's two different things.
Need a
Go ahead.
motion and a second.
I'll second it.
God, not this again.
Roll call, please.
Thank you. Lindstrom.
Yeah.
Trevino.
Here.
West.
Yes, here.
Bettenhausen.
Yes.
Brophy.
Yes.
Culp.
I would ask the gentleman from Blue Beacon to show up with respect to the variance request. You want me to do it?
Sure.
This will be the public hearing for the variance application submitted by Blue Beacon USA for the property at 25620 Cleveland Avenue. I believe representatives from Blue Beacon are here tonight to make a presentation to the board with respect to this matter. So at this time, if a gentleman from Blue Beacon is present, would you please approach the podium and present your case to the zoning board?
Well, good evening. Thank you for taking the time to hear our variance request. I'm David Johnson from Blue Beacon's home office in Salina, Kansas. I'm a part of the real estate and construction group there. My job is to coordinate projects from beginning surveying to final civil engineering, building engineering and architecture to get plans together for construction. So tonight I'm here in front of you to ask for some variances related to signing. With me tonight as well is Jim Briscoe. He's the general manager of the facility here in Monee. Hello. I'm sorry for stepping away from the mic. So without further ado, I'll just go through and tell you a little bit about our company first, then get into more specifics about what we have planned here at the truck wash, including the signage that we're talking about the variances on. Blue Beacon is a family of companies. The two primary wash companies are Charlie's Car Washes and Blue Beacon Truck Washes. The car washes are your basic tunnel wash, geared for small vehicles, where you can wash the exterior of your car and the conveyor pushes you through the line. The truck washes are for everything else. Basically, any vehicle that won't fit on a conveyor and go through a tunnel wash is our customer at the truck wash level. The truck wash side is our primary business. It's definitely a larger scale than Charlie's, but we are slowly growing both companies. Blue Beacon was founded in 1973 by Charlie Walker. We are a privately owned company. Charlie got out of the military, learned a few things about pumps and motors, and came up with the idea of mobile washing units. He'd outfit a truck with vacuums and pressure washers and head north and wash and clean anything that he could. He'd continue north until somebody wanted to buy his truck and do the work. He'd sell the truck, buy a bus ticket, head back to Salina, build another truck, and do it all over again. When he was doing that, he struck on the idea of maybe building a wash and having the trucks come to him instead of him go to the trucks. So May 1st of 1973, almost 49 years ago, the first wash was opened in Salina, Kansas. Now we're over 110 truck washes in 39 states. We're open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, with 3 holidays in there where we are closed. Over 5,000 employees. As I noted before, slow growth is kind of our mantra. We're a debt-free company. We generally open 2 or 3 truck washes a year. We're going to open one in Dodge City here within a month. And then we have one in Jacksonville, Florida, and another in Forest Park, which is a suburb of Atlanta that we're anticipating opening later on this year. Our focus is to provide fast, friendly, and quality service to our customers. As I mentioned, most of our customers are semi-tractor trailer, over-the-road truck drivers, but we do wash RVs, campers, boats, pickups, straight trucks. If you can pull it in the bay, we'll wash it. So that's our customer. Now, more specific about our location here in Monee, the Monee wash was opened in 1984. Since that time, it's been operating as a single bay truck wash. Drivers enter the drive to the north and circulate through the facility counterclockwise. Each wash takes about 15 minutes in general for an exterior wash. So the drivers wait in line, they pull up in their 15-minute interval. Once they get into the wash bay, they'll shut their truck off, go into the office to pay the bill, and while they're paying the bill, 6 to 8 of our employees will get after it with high-pressure wands and wash the outside of the truck. When they're done, the driver comes out of the office, starts the rig up, pulls out onto the exit drive. He and the general manager or employee will inspect the wash. If everything looks good, they're good to go. So that's the general layout, and like I said, it's been that way since 1984. But in 2015, I was here in front of you for some variances related to the addition of the office. We increased the office space in 2015, which is the rectangle part to the northeast of the wash bay there. We basically made larger restrooms, larger lobby space to make it ADA compliant, larger employee break room spaces. So that was our project in 2015, along with increasing the number of parking spaces. We did want to add a wash bay in 2015 as well, but we only owned lot 1 in that picture at that time, and to add a wash bay we would have violated a side yard setback. So we scrapped the second bay at that time, and fortunately we're successful in 2017 with purchasing lot 3 to the south. So now we own both lots 1 and 3 in that drawing, and the side yard setback will not be an issue. So here we are. In yellow is the highlighted work. The first thing we're planning to do is to add that wash bay number 2. You'll notice that it's longer than the current wash bay. The new wash bay will be 110 feet long, where the current one is 90 feet. And the reason that's important is with trucks now being longer, when we have employees wash the back of a trailer, of a full tractor trailer rig, in a 90-foot wash bay, they have to slide open the bay doors, stand outside, and wash the back doors. That's not too bad in the summertime, but in the Chicago winters, you can understand why we don't like employees doing that. So what we're going to do is make the new Bay 2 a wash bay only. So that's for exteriors of trucks. Wash Bay 1, which is 90 feet, will be a wash-out bay only. That would be for the interior of box trucks, like reefers and things like that. Between their loads, they are required to wash out the interior of their box trailer. So that's what we will do in Bay 1, and we'll do washes in Bay 2. So since we're differentiating between those 2 bays, it's important that we run 2 lanes all the way out to the street for those trucks to stack as they enter. So you can see in orange in that drawing that there's, I believe, 6 trucks stacked up for Bay 1 on the inside and 7 stacked up for Bay 2 on the outside. The great thing for us and for the village of Monee is we're stacking about twice as many trucks on our property as currently we are. We've heard comments about busy days with trucks out on Cleveland, so this is going to really help, not only by providing another bay to push them through quicker, but by providing more stack on our own property. So other parts of this, we'll add a few more spaces of employee parking. We have to update and add more detention to meet the Village of Monee requirements for drainage, and then also add a TRUSS sign and relocate our high-rise, which I'll get into a little bit more right now. So the variances I'm here to talk to you about, 2 are related to the high-rise, 2 are related to the TRUSS sign. The first one with the high-rise is about the sign area. The second one is in regard to the lighting of the high-rise sign. The TRUSS sign has to do with the number of allowed freestanding signs, and then the height and area. So getting into the first one with the high-rise sign and the area of it, per the zoning ordinance, freestanding sign face area allowed is 300 square feet, to the best of my understanding. Our current high-rise sign is 376 square feet. Our next size down in our standard high-rise signing that we have is 310 square feet. So it's 10 square feet more than the allowable 300. It'll look similar to what's down there in the lower right corner. So we are proposing to drop our signage, but it still would be 10 square feet over what the ordinance allows. I might comment too that we wouldn't move the sign, we wouldn't do anything to it if we didn't have to. As you can see in the sign in the drawing, the existing high-rise sign is in the yellow area that will be proposed pavement. So we just don't have a choice but to move it a little bit from where it is right now. The next variance requested has to do with lighting of the high-rise sign. Again, per that, it says that signs are to be internally lit. Since 1984, our current sign has been externally lit. There's a picture down in the lower right corner of the current lighting for the current high-rise sign. We would just like to use that same lighting if we could. I would note that it's not going to be exactly like that. Those are metal halide lights. We're going to upgrade our lighting to LED lighting when we do this project, so that would include these ground-mounted signs, which would allow us to focus more light onto the sign as opposed to metal halide, which spreads the light a little bit more. So again, it would be similar, but wouldn't be exact to that. Now getting into the TRUSS sign, per the ordinance, 1 freestanding sign is allowed per 200 lineal feet of street frontage. We have frontages on the east and on the south, so 2 signs are allowed. We currently have a high-rise sign at the southwest corner and what I'll call a mini high-rise sign at the northeast corner. Those are numbered 1 and 2 in the drawing in front of you. This third sign we're proposing is a TRUSS sign, and it is a directional sign. It's not crystal clear in your ordinance regarding freestanding signs whether they apply to just advertising signs or all signage. This TRUSS sign will not be an advertising sign. It will only be a directional sign. And the goal of that sign is to get the drivers into the correct lane as quickly as possible. So as you can see in the lower right corner, the right lane would be marked as a truck wash lane. The left lane would be marked as a washout only lane. And again, it helps the village and it helps us to get those drivers off of Cleveland as quick as we can into the correct lanes so they can stack up and get into the correct wash bay. So the request here, if the ordinance applies to all signage, would be to allow 3 versus 2 signs, even though I'm not exactly sure whether it applies to directional signage. Similarly, the height and size in the ordinance, under the commercial zoning, it allows for directional signage to be 12 square feet and 7 feet high. Our facility is not zoned commercial, it's zoned industrial. There is no directional signing requirements that I can see in the industrial zoning, but to be clear, to make sure you're all aware of what we have planned, we would like to do 88 square feet and a 20-foot high TRUSS sign for making it clear to our drivers where they need to be. So again, not sure that it's required, but just want to make sure it's in front of you for consideration. So to summarize, again, 2 variances on the high-rise. 1, the allowable area. 2, the lighting, either internal or external. The reasonable return, like I said, we don't have a choice but to move the sign. We'd leave it like it was, but we can't. We've got large vehicles that would conflict with the current location of that sign, and we've just got to move it. As far as the nature of the site, we don't expect it to change. The sign will be the same general look as it is now. With regard to the TRUSS sign, the number of signs, the area and height, vehicle stacking, as I mentioned a couple of times, is critical. We're getting more trucks off of Cleveland onto our site. And the unique part about that is we're dealing with big trucks. We want to make sure that that signage is crystal clear. They can't turn around in a standard U-turn and correct their mistakes like we can in cars. So we're wanting to definitely get that signage out there and give them clear direction as to where they need to go. And again, it shouldn't change the appearance of the site. This is the same TRUSS sign that we use at other locations. So if drivers around the country go to different locations that have washout only lanes, they'll see the same signage here as they would at those locations. So I hope I haven't taken up too much of your time. I'm open for questions. Glad to answer anything you might have to ask.
Does anybody have any questions?
The TRUSS sign, lit or unlit?
It is not lit.
Not lit at all? No floods? Nothing?
Nothing. The only thing that will light that sign would be ambient light from,
Headlights?
well, from headlights, but also parking lot lights. If there's a little bit of light that spills from that, there will not be any other spotlights on.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Do any of your other locations for the high-rise sign have internally lit signs?
I can think of one, Cheyenne, Wyoming. was one where the commission required internal lighting. But a vast majority, I would guess 100 of our 110 are ground lit. And it's strictly a maintenance thing. It's just so much easier for our management guys and gals to switch out light fixtures if they're 10 feet off the ground instead of 60 feet up in the sign itself.
Okay, I was just curious about that because I know, as our coding is, our ordinances say that, we would like them to be backlit. So I was just wondering if other locations had made you do that. I think that was my only question. Anyone else have any questions?
Well, it's kind of a gray area
Right.
when you think about it. From a maintenance standpoint, and if you're doing LEDs, regardless of whether it's ground mount lights or internal, LEDs are definitely proving their worth in their longevity, I guess I would say. Where a metal halide bulb is 5 years, okay? Or a ballast goes bad, and you gotta replace either the whole fixture or the ballast anyway. But the LEDs, if you get 10 years out of LEDs, you've done pretty well. So, yes, the LED floods can be narrowed, corrected. You're talking to a retired electrician, so I'm pretty much aware of the lighting part of it, so.
Without a doubt, LEDs are much better than carrying up tube fluorescents or whatever the old signing was. And-
Ballast the load, did it have to
Yeah,
pump one of those up there? Yeah.
without a doubt.
I believe the gas station in that area there, they all have ground lights. Do they not?
Well, I know Thornton's. Thornton's, I believe, is the backlit. Isn't theirs?
The
Yeah.
pilot is an internally lit
Okay.
sign.
Okay.
And the
That's
Petro
internally
just down the
lit sign.
street is external.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's internally lit. Thornton's is internally lit.
That's the newest.
Yeah,
I suspect Petro and Blue Beacon were probably the first two to build and perhaps before the requirement. I don't know, but
Does anyone else from the public want to speak in regards to this?
You might want to ask.
Is the sign you're talking about is 310 square feet, right? You want that variance. Are those already made in some location and you just transport them out?
yeah, one of our other family
That's okay.
of companies is called PowerVac, and they make our signage. Our standard logo cabinet is 10 by 17, which is the Blue Beacon logo on top, and the truck wash cabinet is 5 by 30. So that's the standard size that they make, which comes out to be 310 square feet.
so what are you downsizing as far as the two, what's up here now? Obviously, you're shrinking something.
Yeah, the truck wash, our largest standard cabinet size for truck wash is 6 foot high by 36 foot wide. So we're downsizing to 5 by 30 from 6 by 36. And then the cabinet, we're downsizing to 10 by 17. I can't remember if it's 12 by 20 is our larger logo. And then we do have the mini size, which would be the size of the logo in truck wash, which is at our entrance right now. It's the smaller size yet.
I'd like to say firstly, your presentation's been awesome. And in my opinion, on the little things that you're asking, I think it's peanuts. And I think you should okay everything you're asking for, in my opinion.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Romy, did you want to come up and say anything in regards to?
Good evening, everyone. From the building standpoint, we don't have any objections. As David described it, they are adding another building, so the signage, as he mentioned, would help because you can't turn the trucks on a dime. So we don't have any objections from the building.
Okay.
If there's no further questions, then you have a motion to close the public hearing.
If there's no further questions, I would need a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion for that?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Lindstrom,
Here.
Trevino,
Here.
West,
Here.
Bettenhausen,
Yes.
Brophy,
Yes.
Culp, Linnerer,
There you go.
Yes.
Yes. Just don't call me a cat.
Now, we would ask, does the board have a favorable or unfavorable recommendation to give to the board with respect to this request?
Okay.
Okay. You want me to do it?
If you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay.
At this point in time, after the presentation, the board has the opportunity to make a favorable or unfavorable recommendation with respect to the variance request. If it's presented, then it will go before the full board for a final vote, which is, I believe, next Wednesday, correct? And in the motion, it should indicate that there is no undue hardship created because of the request, and this request will not adversely affect the adjoining property owners. So what we would need, the board thought it was appropriate, need a motion for a favorable recommendation with respect to this gentleman's request.
I'll make a motion for the favorable.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
West,
Yes. Here.
Bettenhausen,
Yes.
Brophy,
Yes.
Culp,
Yes.
Linner,
Yes?
Lindstrom,
Yes.
Trevino.
Yes.
And then I just say the thing.
Just go over this.
All right. I don't believe there's any old business or new business, so I just need a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Bettenhausen,
Yes.
Brophy,
Yes.
Culp, Linner,
Yes?
Lindstrom,
Yes.
Trevino,
Yes.
West.
Yes.